start just with real general things, and
The next word is X.
okay. So we're going to talk about relationships, and it's fitting that we talk about relationships because God is the author of relationships. God is a relational God. He lives in relationship in the triune, in the Trinity, and He is the author of relationships. We're going to talk about Adam and Eve in just a little bit. He could have just made Adam and had his personal play friend and been fine, but he wasn't because he wanted his creation to live in relationship with each other. Now, as we go through this, this is going to be partly kind of overview, but it's also going to get specific places. So understand this is lesson 21, which is the last lesson. So here are your anchors. So there's a lot.
Our boat is not moving. I just have a boat. Dude, our boat is at the bottom of the ocean.
I want to know is how is that guy handling all of those anchors?
I know, how many anchors is that? Our boat was at the bottom of the ocean.
21.
Before it sinks?
Guys.
Oh, before it
Mormonism
sinks?
is a cult. That's not our
Probably 22.
Yes.
Mormonism is a cult.
And we'll probably do cults too, because I think he might have been number 2. But anyway, I'm running, right? Yeah. So the anchor for this lesson is healthy relationships have God in the center. And that's where we're going to begin. And this isn't just dating relationships or marriage relationships. That's true. God needs to be in the center, but God needs to be in the center of all of our relationships, whether those are friendships or siblings or whatever it is. And as I said, that God is a relational God. He lives in the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit in perfect relationship. And that's our model. Now, we will never have perfect relationships, and you all know that. But God is our model of perfect relationship. And God wanted his creation to live in relationship as well. And we were created for relationships. How do we know that? We see this in Genesis 1. Then God said, let us make man, us, the Trinity, right? Make man in our image, after our own likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God made man in his own image. In the image of God, he made them. Male and female, he created them. And so then he makes Adam, and Adam is there, and the first thing he says about Adam is, it is not good. Oh, there's more than that, sorry. It is not good that man should be alone. It wasn't good for him to be alone. God wanted him to live in relationship, and so he said, I will make a helper fit for him. Tailor-made. And it's Eve, right? And so now this is the commentary on that. Therefore, because God made us male and female, because God made Eve for Adam, therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they will become one flesh. And the man and the wife were both naked and were not ashamed. So we see this first human relationship in Adam and Eve. And it shows us that God wants us to live in relationship. Now, this isn't like an introvert extrovert thing. I am an extrovert. You've probably figured that out by now. My husband is not. And if you've met him, you're doing this right now because he is an introvert. I need lots of friends. And I like having lots of friends around. I love a classroom full of teenagers. That would give my husband the hives. my husband just needs one friend, and I'm his. That's a good thing. He doesn't need to go out with the guys and go bowling or whatever. He's happy to be at home with me. And so it's not an extrovert introvert thing. We both need relationships. I just happen to have a higher need for relationships than he does. So we see this even in the Trinity. This relationship and how God wanted us to live in relationship. I think I've got yeah. So so it says in Matthew 22. Is that where I want to be? Nope, I don't want to be there yet. What is that? There we go. There we go. Okay, now we're good. I shouldn't hear talking. So I'm going to give you a couple of analogies. One is from the curriculum, one is from me. That's supposed to be a cross. It's not a very good cross. So here's God, and here's us. And that vertical relationship between us and God is paramount, is the most important thing. Because if we don't have this part right, this won't be right. Until this is good, this is not. Which is one of the reasons why God says, the Bible says, don't be unequally yoked with someone else. And that means somebody that it could mean an unbeliever, but it also means someone who isn't in the same place as you are. It almost never works unless the person who doesn't know Jesus grows in this. And then this works. But our relationship with Jesus needs to be the most important relationship we have. So we see this even in the first commandment. And he said to him, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments depend all the law and the prophets. Our first relationship is to be with God and to have a relationship with God. And then next we are to have relationships with each other. And it works best when those other people that you're relaying to horizontally also have a horizontal relationship with Jesus. So we're to love God and we're to love others. I'm going to give you another one. This is the me one. And listen, I'm going to talk a lot about my marriage because it's the only marriage I've had. And it's the most important. Thank you. It's the most important relationship I have, human relationship that I have. And I'll just tell you right now, we don't have a perfect marriage. And I know, and sometimes I'm not even sure we have a good marriage, but we do. But there's times when I, tick him off, and there's times when he ticks me off. It's more times when he ticks me off because I'm just a little bit more mercurial than he is, but he takes it pretty well. So I'm going to do a triangle here. This. Okay, so this is God up here. This is Jeff. And this is me. What happens between Jeff and me as we grow closer to God? We become closer to each other. Yeah. And I can, after 37 37 and a half years of marriage, I can testify to that. That as we have grown each in our own spiritual journey, we have grown closer to each other. Then it's part of why God says, don't be unequally yoked. Because if you are unequally yoked, well, no, I won't. No, I won't. All right. Okay. So if we have this person, right, that's here, or even here, it doesn't work. And that's why God says not to be unequally yoked. One of the most important goals of marriage, not goal, but purpose for marriage, is to help us being iron sharpening iron to one another, to help each other grow. I'm thinking of a very old Larry Norman song, and it's called a song for a circle of friends. But he talks about that as we both crawl together toward the Lamb, meaning Jesus. And that's a picture of what our relationships are to be, all our relationships, but certainly dating relationships, marital relationships. You need to be iron sharpening iron, and you need to be helping that person grow in their relationship with Christ. If you are dating someone who moved you away from Christ, please leave that relationship. That is not a good relationship. I don't care who it is. I don't care who he is or how pretty she is or how much you like them. If they're not encouraging your faith will take a hit 100 times, 100% of the time. And it works better when we are iron sharpening iron and we are both growing together in the relationship and in our relationship with Jesus. And whatever your dating relationship is or your family relationships are, your relationship with God is to be the most important relationship you have. And we can and we should be intentional about our relationships. I'm going to play a clip for you that shows a little bit about it's a girl and a guy, two separate, they're not dating or anything, giving advice, especially giving advice once you're out of the house, once you're at college or wherever you are after high school. So I need to turn this off and get that going.
Friends.
Or
Or their
I don't think,
relationships are.
well, I mean, men tend to be less forthcoming, and women tend to talk things out more.
Yeah, because to continue off of that, because men have this mentality that I need to process all this on my own. I must be because we're supposed to be the man of the house, like the breadwinner, have it all together. So if that's not the case, if we're not perfect in every way, shape, and form, we just ignore it. We push it to the side. Don't let anyone know because we can figure it out. It's fine.
But nobody has it figured out, and it's important that we admit that because change doesn't happen until we realize we're not okay. As long as we think we're okay, that's not going to happen. Yes.
I think something that the girl talked about at first, which was you shouldn't have friendships that are draining to you. You should have people who make you feel more energized to be with them, not somebody where you're like, oh, I have to go hang out with so and so today.
Right.
And then you're like, I'm gonna be so tired when I get home. It's not even fun hanging out with them. Why are you in set relationships?
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and that's why we need to be connected to the mind so that we can help people. But you also need to know when you have to, you have to get away. Yeah.
I think another important thing the girl was talking about was when she said you find a better right away is to that was so that was super important because most of that relationship was I do it in college, so you do it. Well, I can do it eventually, but actually.
Yeah, I've told many parents when I'm talking to parents that are, you know, their kids are getting ready to go to college and Christian college and or you know, secular college and where should I go? And one of the things I tell them is that I would rather my children go to a Christian college that's truly a Christian college or a secular college rather than what I went to. They call themselves a college of the church. I don't know what else. It is a denomination. Um, but because I was swimming upstream for 4 years and it was hard and I lost the battle. I've talked to you about that at times because I wasn't being fed. And so someplace I'll say, and I'm not telling you to go here, but Lincoln, for example, Lincoln has really good campus ministries, really good Bible studies, really good churches close by. And I'll tell you what, especially if you go, and this I'll give you this advice. If you go to a Christian school or even a small state school in a small town, go to church. Go to church because there's some old lady like me that wants to take you home and give you a nice home cooked meal, and let you do your laundry at their house instead of paying for it at the school. So go to church and get to know some nice family, and they'll help you grow in your faith as well. Yeah.
There are a lot of independent college ministries that are trying to get to every single college campus. There's one called Self. They just planted a church in my hometown.
Great.
They try to network as much as possible. Get people together.
And that triggered something in me because I did not see this coming, and so I'm just going to tell you this. I didn't tell the other class this because I just thought of it right now. I'm going to tell you this in case it happens to you. I really wanted to go to St. Olaf. My sister was there. She was a senior when I was a freshman, and I didn't see it coming, and I was homesick. Like, stay in my room, not go out and do anything, homesick. Don't do that. Go if everybody's going to a bonfire, go to a bonfire. Go to a church. Go to a ministry. Make friends. Make good godly friends, because you will. I mean, even if you don't think you'll be homesick, and even if you only go 50 miles down the road, it's completely different, and everything is new, and you don't know anyone. And at least that was true for me, except for my sister. Yeah, you need to be proactive because nobody is going to come to you and say, you know, you want to go do this. I mean, you've got to be proactive in that, and that'll help you grow your faith. Okay, so I need to stop and put the PowerPoint up again. So, how do you build healthy relationships? Your friendships are going to have an impact on you. They're going to affect you, for good or for bad. But I don't know that they're ever, you know, just status quo. I mean, it's either going to help you grow in your faith, or it's going to help you devolve in your faith. So find the people who will help you grow in your relationship. That's what the word I was looking for. Relationships are rarely benign, like not bad and not good, just benign, because they will affect you, and you spend a lot of time with those people. And you become like, right? He who walks with the wise grows wise. but the companion of fools suffers harm, and that's from Proverbs. And when we walk with the wise, we're like them, but when we walk with the unwise, we become like them as well. So I'm going to give you a little visual. And I need a... Come on up, Grace.
Apple.
No.
Tells me the sister check the word.
I was actually just going to say that.
Dang it. Hey, Grace, stand on the street.
Oh, wait, I didn't even know this. Then I
Look.
Use
There
it
you go.
twice.
Okay, there you go.
That's not-
Okay, so face me because you're my friend. This is my friend Grace.
Whoa,
And Grace loves Jesus, and she's wonderful, and she's my friend. And I hate Jesus. And so, which is going to be easier? Is it going to be easier for me with my right hand, which isn't very strong, pull Grace down, or would it be easier for her to pull me up on the chair? How much do you weigh? Aha! You got it. 120 pounds. Okay, I got it. Okay, you ready? No. Okay, lift me up. Come on, lift me up. Oh, you're doing a pretty good job. Thank you. So, I want to tell you what I don't mean by that. I don't mean don't have friends who are unbelievers. Don't be equally yoked with an unbeliever. An unbeliever being equally yoked is someone who has influence in your life, and especially more influence in your life than you have in theirs. I want you to live out loud for Jesus. I want you to draw people to Christ. I want you to be compassionate to your friends who are not believers. But I don't want that to be, that person to have more influence in your life than you have. And by and large, that's what happens. So I think there's this sense of, with friends that are not believers, and especially those who are not listening or who are just really into some rough stuff. I think there's this sense that we need to guard our own hearts, and we need to gauge the impact that person is having on us. And I would say even find a friend that's and maybe not even a friend, a mentor, an older believer. And if you're a guy, get a guy, and if you're a girl, get a girl. Girls do not have a male mentor. Any male mentor that wants to mentor a young child, whoop, go away. And listen to them. Pay attention to what they have to say, because you need to be the one having the influence, not the other way around. This is the way I put it to my children when they were growing up. I'd say to them, a lot of who you become in life is based on the choices you make and the people you hang out with, and the two things are closely tied together. Got me to say that again? A lot of what you will become in life is based on the choices you make and the people you hang out with, and those two things are closely bound together, closely connected. So surround yourself with the kind of friends that draw you closer to Christ, that pursue relationships with the kinds of people who are following after Christ, and not, and they're spiritually and emotionally and intellectually wise. And that kind of friend then can help you grow in your relationship with Jesus. Okay, so I'm going to do one more thing and we'll stop after this. So when you're looking for friends, especially at college, after you leave this place, I'm trying to prepare you after you leave this place, and please come back and say hi to me. I love that when that happens. Look for like-minded people. people whose faith is similar to yours. And then get involved in, as I just said, Christian groups, ministries on campus, join a Bible study, get involved in a local church, but be intentional about it. Because I'm telling you right now, if you've gone to a late movie on Saturday night and church is at 10 o'clock and you're going to wake up and go, so you got to be intentional about it. I told the other class, the first time I skipped class in college was freshman year, first semester freshman year, and I went back to my dorm room and I sat on the bed. I don't even know why I skipped, and I wasn't like I was going to study something else, but I just did. And I sat on the bed and I thought, well, I wonder if the dean's going to come get me and I get attention. I don't know what happens. Nothing happens. Go to class. Don't skip class. It comes back to bite you on your report card. So, but be intentional and get involved in all those things. I had a friend. Well, I've told you about him, Stan. And one of the times when we had a kid at FCA that we knew was kind of not in a good place spiritually, had been and wasn't now, and his question to that kid was always, so do you think like you're pedaling, pedaling uphill toward Jesus, or do you think you're stopped or going backwards, or do you think you're coasting? And he always knew what they'd say, because he knew he couldn't say I'm pedaling forward, but he didn't want to say I'm going backward. And so he'd say, I'm coasting, and that sounds okay. And Stan would always say the same thing. Can you coast uphill? And life is uphill. So if you're going to coast, eventually you're going to slide back down, right? So don't coast uphill. You can't coast uphill. Okay, that's it for today.
Yeah,